Sparks flew and tempers boiled over on last night's episode of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, as Elon Musk found himself in the crosshairs of a relentless roast. Tension exploded live on air, leading to an unforgettable meltdown. What began as light banter spiraled into a savage war of words, ending in a jaw-dropping confrontation that's now dominating headlines. Before we dive in, tell us where you're watching from and hit that subscribe button for more explosive stories. Like this. It started like any other episode of The Late Show. The lights were bright, the crowd was buzzing, and Stephen Colbert wore that familiar glint in his eye, the one that signals he's ready to poke, prod, and push his guests just a bit past. Comfortable. But no one, not even the production crew, anticipated the slow-burning chaos that would unravel when Elon Musk walked onto the set. The cheers were thunderous as Colbert welcomed Musk. Entrepreneur, space cowboy, and part-time meme dealer, Elon Musk, everyone! The audience clapped with enthusiasm, and Musk walked out with his usual slightly awkward wave, nodding politely. He smiled, though cautiously, and sat down. Colbert opened with what felt like light jabs. So, how many industries are you trying to disrupt this week? Or are you just building another flamethrower to keep yourself entertained? The crowd laughed, and even Musk chuckled, responding with a measured, "Well, I think disruption is just progress that people aren't ready for." But the tone began to shift. Subtle at first. You've got SpaceX, Tesla, Neuralink, and now X. You ever think maybe it's just too many fronts? I mean, even Napoleon eventually hit a wall, the audience murmured, unsure if that was a joke or a jab. Musk raised an eyebrow. "I don't think there's such a thing as too much when you're building the future." Colbert grinned tightly. "Right. Except when the future looks like a broken autopilot crashing into a stop sign." Laughter. Nervous this time. Musk didn't laugh. Colbert leaned forward, pressing in. "I mean, Tesla stock just dipped again today. Do your investors ever ask if you could, I don't know, focus? Or do they just strap in and hope the rocket doesn't explode?" That hit Musk, stiffened slightly, brushing his jacket sleeve. "I don't really respond to market noise," he said coolly. "Vision takes time. You of all people should understand performance over pandering." The tension cracked. Colbert's expression sharpened, and he wasted no time. "Performance? Huh? Because from what I've seen, your Cybertruck rollout was more of a comedy sketch than a product launch. Bulletproof glass, right? That shattered like your PR team's nerves." Laughter again. Stronger this time. Musk tried to smile, but it didn't reach his eyes. "You spend billions shooting things into space," Colbert continued, voice rising, ever so slightly. "And yet you couldn't get a window to survive a rock. Do you really think humanity's salvation lies with you?" Musk shifted in his seat. "Stephen, I don't think you understand the complexities of the work." "Oh, I understand complexity," Colbert snapped back, voice still smiling but eyes locked like steel. "But I also understand hype. And you, my friend, have turned the art of overpromising into a business model." The room was electric. The audience wasn't laughing now. They were holding their breath. "You've made Twitter into X, whatever that means," Colbert jabbed again. "And now it's hemorrhaging users faster than a SpaceX rocket burns fuel. Meanwhile, Neuralink is supposed to put chips in brains? Maybe start by finishing a car that doesn't try to murder its driver first." That was the tipping point. Musk's jaw tightened. "You know, I came on here to talk about innovation, progress, the future of civilization, not to be insulted by a late-night host with a Wikipedia understanding of tech." Colbert didn't blink. "If this is the future, Elon, I think I'll stick with my toaster. At least it doesn't crash when I try to make breakfast." The audience gasped. Audible tension snapped across the room. Musk reached up, unclipping his mic with deliberate slowness. "I don't have to take this," he said flatly. "This isn't journalism. This isn't even comedy. This is just provocation. Colbert leaned back, arms crossed. You're right. It's not comedy. It's accountability. Something your companies seem allergic to. Musk stood. You're not serious. You've got a flamethrower company, a broken glass truck, and a platform turning into a propaganda machine, Colbert said, his voice icy calm. You tell me what's serious. Musk paused, fury rising in his posture now. Do you know how many people rely on what I build? How many jobs? How much progress? Progress? Colbert interrupted. Or ego trips with a price tag. And then, in a move that stunned even the camera crew, Musk ripped off his lapel mic, tossed it onto the chair, and turned toward the offstage entrance. I'm done, he muttered. You were done the second the stock dropped, Colbert said. After him, barely above a whisper, but the mic caught it, and the audience heard every word. The crowd broke into a stunned, confused mixture of claps, gasps, and murmurs. Musk didn't look back. The Tesla CEO disappeared behind the curtain, leaving an eerie silence in his wake. Colbert sat alone, slowly turning back toward the camera. Well, folks, that escalated quickly. What the cameras didn't show was the immediate aftermath. The crew scrambling, producers shouting, and social media lighting up like a supernova. But if you thought the drama was over, you'd be wrong. Because what happened after Musk stormed off would turn the Late Show from a nightly talk show into the eye of a viral firestorm. The cameras cut to commercial almost immediately after Musk vanished behind the curtain. But inside the Ed Sullivan Theater, the tension still clung to the walls like smoke after a flash fire. Audience members shifted in their seats, some whispering, some pulling out their phones. Colbert remained seated, sipping water, eyes unreadable. The band didn't play. The studio, for all its stage lighting, was cold. Backstage, Elon was already out of his chair, storming through a narrow hallway lined with production equipment and startled interns. A producer tried to intercept him. "Mr. Musk, please. Just give us 5 minutes. We can reset." But he didn't slow down. He tore through the side exit, pushing open a fire door and disappearing into the alley behind the theater, his Tesla Model X already waiting. But the show wasn't over. Not for Colbert. Not for Musk. And definitely not for the millions who were already watching. During the next commercial break, Colbert leaned into his team. "We're not cutting any of that," he said. "Roll it exactly how it happened." The control room hesitated, but the decision was made. The editors were already pulling the clip. It would air unfiltered. No damage control. No retraction. By the time the show returned to broadcast, just minutes after the walk-off, the clip had already been posted to the Late Show's official YouTube and X accounts, captioned simply, "Elon Musk walks out of interview after heated exchange with Stephen Colbert." Within the hour, it had racked up millions of views. But it wasn't just the view count that made jaws drop. It was the content of that clip. Replayed in crisp HD, the confrontation felt even sharper in retrospect. Colbert's timing, Musk's tightening jaw, the mic being ripped off, the walkout. It played like a political thriller, and the internet devoured it. On Twitter, clips were dissected second by second. Colbert ended him trended globally within 30 minutes. Tesla tanking? Followed shortly after. Then came the analysis. Finance pundits, tech commentators, and late-night fans alike flooding the platform with theories, reactions, and memes. And then, Tesla's stock. In pre-market trading, Tesla shares began to slide. Not dramatically at first, but visibly. The footage had triggered unease among investors, and then CNBC aired the full exchange. A panel of financial analysts speculated that Musk's apparent instability on live television could be seen as indicative of broader concerns at the executive level. Tesla dropped 3.5% in less than 2 hours. It snowballed. Musk, now out of the studio and back at his private residence, was furiously texting his PR team. "Fix this," one message read. Issue statement: show was hostile, ambush style, unprofessional, but it was too late. Colbert, still on set and with 5 minutes left of airtime, wasn't finished. "I want to take a moment," he said, as the show resumed, "to clarify something for our viewers, and for anyone watching who might think I was too hard on our guest." The audience held still. Elon Musk is a powerful man. That's not up for debate. But when powerful men come on this show, they get the same treatment as everyone else. They don't get to opt out of questions. They don't get to silence criticism with dollar signs. If you can send rockets to Mars but can't handle 5 minutes of pushback, then maybe you're not the visionary you think you are. The crowd erupted. Half of them were already standing. The applause rolled like thunder, and then came the kicker. "I respect innovation," Colbert continued, "but I respect accountability more. And if calling out broken promises and inflated egos gets me walked out on, then I'm in the right business." That line, "then I'm in the right business," was clipped within seconds and turned into a rallying cry across the internet. It became the top trending quote on TikTok, slapped over video montages of SpaceX rocket explosions, Cybertruck mishaps, and clunky Twitter rebrands. Musk responded publicly within hours. In a late-night post on X, he wrote, "Came on a Colbert to talk about the future. Got ambushed by sarcasm and ignorance. Some people mock what they don't understand. Back to work." It got over 100,000 likes, but the damage was already viral. A second wave of the video, this time focused on the Tesla stock angle, went out from Bloomberg, then Forbes, then CNN. Financial media latched onto the idea that Musk's public persona was no longer bulletproof. The image of the cool, untouchable tech titan had cracked. Back inside the studio, producers were stunned. Colbert was calm, almost, eerily so. "I didn't set out to humiliate him," he told a stagehand between takes. "I just stopped pretending he was untouchable." But even that wasn't the full story. There was more. According to multiple audience members, after the cameras went dark, Colbert stayed seated for several minutes. He looked out at the crowd, thanked them quietly, and added, "It's not every night you watch history break in real time." What he didn't know then, what none of them could have predicted, was what Musk would do next. A response far more volatile than a tweet. The morning after the taping, reports began to trickle in. Tesla employees anonymously claimed internal. Slack channels were flooded with screenshots of the incident. Some celebrated Colbert's jabs. Others feared retaliation. Rumors spread that Musk was already planning a rebuttal, a direct, unscripted live stream where he could set the record straight. But even as speculation mounted, the world hadn't seen the last of this confrontation. Because when Musk speaks again, he doesn't just respond, he fires back. And what he says next might burn more than just reputations. The following evening, just 23 hours after the now infamous walk-off, Elon Musk reappeared. Not through a press release, not through a tweet, but in the most Musk way possible. An impromptu live broadcast on X, promoted as "Setting the Record Straight." The stream opened with a black screen, a low ambient hum in the background. Then his face appeared, lit by the glow of his monitors, eyes tired but wired, like a man who hadn't slept since the storm broke. "Let's talk," he said, leaning forward. "Last night I went on a show that used to represent smart, thoughtful discussion. Instead I got insulted, mocked, and ridiculed on live television." The stream's viewer count exploded. 100,000, 200,000, 500,000. It wasn't just tech bros and Tesla investors tuning in. It was Colbert fans, news junkies, Wall Street analysts, and comedians, all waiting to see if he'd implode or rise from the ashes. "Elon's going off," one comment read. "Grab popcorn," Musk pressed on, voice low but charged. "Stephen, Colbert invited me to speak about the future, about Mars, sustainable energy, AI safety. I was excited. Instead, I got ambushed with jokes about stock prices, glass windows, and tweets I made years ago. That's not a conversation. That's theater. He paused, as if weighing whether to pull the pin. And if theater is what they want, he said slowly, then let's talk about Colbert. For the next 15 minutes, Musk unloaded. He shared internal projections, screenshots of Tesla's near-future innovations still under wraps. He detailed SpaceX's upcoming Mars transfer window, revealing plans ahead of official announcements. He even dropped the bombshell that Neuralink had achieved its first successful brain interface transmission between a human and a computer earlier that day, something no press outlet had yet reported. The move was calculated chaos, and it worked. Within moments, Musk's stream had hijacked the evening news cycle. The New York Times ran a headline mid-broadcast: Musk goes nuclear on Colbert, drops Neuralink bombshell during live stream. And yet, for all the technical shockwaves Musk sent into the world, it was what he said in the final moments that would define his retaliation. "I can take jokes," he said. "I'm not a robot. But I won't sit silently while a man who built his career pretending to be a parody of a newsman tries to shred mine for applause." He looked into the camera. "And if Stephen Colbert wants a war, well, I'm not the one who should be worried about ratings." Then he ended the stream with a smirk and cut the feed. For a few minutes, the internet convulsed. But as the adrenaline cooled, the reaction to Musk's counterattack grew more complicated. Some lauded him for defending himself and dropping real tech news in real time. But others weren't buying the indignation act. The top trending phrase the next morning wasn't about Mars or Neuralink. It was, "He can dish it, but can't take it." Stephen Colbert responded the following night, but not with another ambush, not with scorched earth jokes, with something far more dangerous: restraint. He opened the show without music, no band, just Colbert walking on stage to a silent, standing crowd. He stood center frame, adjusting his glasses with that same surgical precision that had gutted Musk live 2 nights prior. "I saw Elon's live stream," he began. "Impressive numbers, wild claims. There's a reason we didn't interrupt. Finding Nemo to cover it." The audience chuckled, but it was muted. "I want to clarify something," he said, now serious. "This show, my job, isn't to coddle billionaires. It's to challenge ideas, expose contradictions, and, yes, occasionally roast those who act like they're above criticism." He turned slightly toward the camera, voice steady. "Elon Musk didn't melt down because I insulted his companies. He melted down because I insulted him. The myth, the persona, and that's the part he can't separate from reality anymore. It was surgical, it was direct, and it was final. But it didn't stop there. In a twist that stunned even the network execs, Colbert aired a side-by-side replay. One monitor showed Musk's original meltdown from the show, the other, his live stream rebuttal. Frame by frame, the host picked apart contradictions. "He says he wasn't angry. Here he is ripping off his mic," Colbert narrated. "He says I ambushed him. Here's the invite. Full pre-interview notes. Approved by his team. We don't do ambushes. We do research." By the time the segment ended, the audience was roaring. Colbert hadn't just responded. He dismantled Musk's entire counteroffensive in under 5 minutes. That night's YouTube upload, titled "Colbert Destroys Musk's Meltdown Again," hit 10 million views in 12 hours. And Musk? He didn't post again that week. Tesla's stock rebounded slightly by Friday, but the damage lingered, not in dollars, but in reputation. Corporate sponsors grew wary. A few investor calls leaked, quoting major shareholders expressing concern over unfiltered public volatility. Behind closed doors, SpaceX executives issued a new PR guideline: no unscripted media appearances for Musk, until further notice. The fallout rippled even further. Comedians across the late-night circuit weighed in, some siding with Colbert, others cautiously joking at both men's expense. Saturday Night Live opened with a sketch titled Tech Bro Breakdown, with a Musk impersonator dodging criticism by launching himself to the moon. The consensus was clear. Elon Musk's image had taken a hit, one not from regulators, whistleblowers, or product failures, but from a desk across a late-night stage, in front of a live studio audience. Colbert, for his part, didn't bask in it. In his final monologue of the week, he ended with a quieter reflection. "There's nothing wrong with ambition," he said, "but when ambition loses humility, it becomes delusion. We live in an age where men build rockets and still can't face a punchline. That should scare us more than a self-driving car." The audience gave him a standing ovation. And just like that, the week that had started with a typical celebrity interview ended with a culture-shifting confrontation. The most powerful man in tech walked into a talk show expecting to control the narrative. Instead, he walked out. Mic off. Image shaken. Legacy challenged. The footage would live forever online. The headlines would fade. But the moment, the rupture between power and parody, was already history. And for Stephen Colbert, the message was clear. If you step into the arena, you'd better be ready for more than applause. You better be ready for the truth.